So, that's pa record na lang give me a copy of this. Yeah. Direct, congratulations. So, we know that when you made movies sa Viva Max, talagang mga bigating mga director yung mga nandun. So how was your reaction po nung binigyan kayo ng pagkakataon to direct a movie in Viva Max like PUSOY?
Sure. I'll start by saying I actually don't speak much Tagalog.
Yeah. Okay.
I got your question.
But you understand it, direct?
Yeah, a little bit. Your question was, what was it like directing?
Yeah, I will repeat it, direct. How was it? How is it working? What's your first impression when they give you this project, movie, a film on Viva Max?
Yeah, so originally I had a film called PUSOY that was a bit different. It wasn't like a sexy film. It was it's still about gambling. It's still about family. But I pitched it to a producer here, and he said, you know what, like you should repackage this a little bit for Viva Max, make it a little sexy, and that's what I did. So yeah, it was really exciting. I never, it's something I never thought about. Sometimes you're even a little scared of putting sex scenes in because depending on the audience, it might narrow the audience a little bit. So to make a film where that's more what it's geared towards is interesting and exciting. I never really got to like work those muscles out before. So I really liked it. It was really exciting for me. Yeah.
Derek, is it your first time to do a sexy film like this?
Yeah, I've directed, like I did a commercial that had people in lingerie, and I've done things where people kissed, but never this extreme. Like there's it's like BDSM, like there's whips, they tie people up because it the film has like a master and submissive, a dominant and submissive hierarchy to the sex scenes. They're not just like people having sex. It's like there's hierarchy, there's power involved. So there's a lot going on in the sex scenes. So it's not just like people making love. It's like also like story related and theme related.
Derek, how is it working with a new generation of stars on this film? How is it working with them? And of course, this is your first sexy film. How are you going to protect them personally with the love scenes, with the kissing scenes, like that, something like that?
Yeah, so it's like new generation, but then a little bit of the old generation because Baron Geisler is in the film, so he's a more experienced actor. And then some of the actors, they don't have sex scenes, but they're like Julio Diaz is in the film. Like he doesn't have a sex scene, but he acts in the film. So there's like older generation also. How I protect them is I have like, they're very tastefully done, the sex scenes, like they're not, it doesn't feel like softcore porn or anything like that. It's I wasn't inspired by porn for the film. I was inspired by like other sex scenes in other films, like art films, and my own personal life, like things that I personally enjoy a little bit. So it's not, it shouldn't be gratuitous. It should be, if you watch the film, it's not gratuitous. It may be like intense, but it's not, hopefully like we tried to create a very healthy, comfortable environment, a very safe environment. So, we asked them all their requirements, all their restrictions. We really respected that. We didn't try to push that at all. Like if there's a few things that they're uncomfortable with. So we just said, we're not going to do that.
Last on me, Direct. Why should Filipino people should watch this film? In one word, how do you describe your film?
One word. Oh my goodness. Daring. Yeah, if I can elaborate, it explores like underground gambling in different gambling dens. So it's kind of a interesting world to explore. And then it's about a group of card hustlers. So you get to see the power dynamics between them. So I think it's a really like daring film.
Congratulations, Direct. Looking forward to this movie. I'm
Yeah.
excited to watch this film. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, Alan. Very good questions.
Thank you, Kuya Alan. Next is Kate Alahar from Random Republica.
Hi, thanks, Naz. Hi, Direk. Good evening.
Hello.
My first question, you mentioned earlier that this is based on your personal life. Is it based on real events? I mean, are the characters based on real people, or are they, or you, or what inspired you in coming up with with the characters?
So we did research. We did some immersive research, but the film is inspired by a scene I saw in Amo, Brillante Mendoza's film. So it's not based off an actual event that happened. It's inspired by real things and real people, but it's not from one specific story. It's more inspired by like the world of gambling.
I see. And also, the artists that you worked with, while they already experienced having movie projects, they're still relatively new. How would you describe the approach that you used in directing them?
So you're saying you're saying they're not like brand new? Like
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Well, I think Janelle T, she had only worked on maybe one or two other projects before this. But yeah, everyone else has done quite a bit of like Viva stuff, or like Baron's done a fair amount of he's been working forever.
Did yeah.
Yeah, so to answer your question, it's Brillante Mendoza was the producer, so we kind of adopted his style. So it's that unique style. Like they don't have a script. There's no script. They don't know. They know their character. They know what the character wants. They know the dynamic that they have, but they don't know what the next scene is. They don't know what they're shooting that day. We just tell them like right before we film. So they know about the character, but they don't know like what's going to happen. So only right before the scene, we tell them, oh, you're going to do this, and then this is going to happen. And then we may only give them one line of dialogue each. That's like the max. Yeah.
What was the most challenging part of this project?
I think for me, working with so many different actors, because the cast is like stacked. Like there's a lot of like really, really talented people, and we got along so well. So kind of establishing so many characters because it's not just one character's journey. There's many people struggling with a lot of things. Like Vince's character has a sick mother that he loves dearly, and he's trying to support, but then he also has a wife that wants to leave. So he's a father, but then he's also he's really dealing with a lot at home, and then he's also dealing with a lot very stressful work. And then Baron has issues with his daughter and his wife, but he also has issues going on with like the gambling and the pressure that's being placed on him to pay off the general. And then Janelle has it's all about like fraternal like issues like with the family, and then also professional like So it's like the whole film is kind of like a sprint because they're all dealing with so many things at such a high level.
And for my last question, for future projects, do you have a dream theme or subject?
I'm always interested in betrayal.
Mm.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I experienced some of that, and I wasn't expecting it. I was really shocked by it, and that seems to be that was a theme. That's a theme of loyalty and betrayal is a theme in PUSOY, and then I'm writing a new film now called Pabuya, which is also about betrayal. So yeah.
Thank you, Derek, and good luck. Thanks, Naz.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you, Kate. Next, we have John Bueno of Kumagpao.
Yeah. Hi, Direk. How are you? I've had the pleasure of actually seeing you like a couple of months ago during the premiere of one of Direk Mendoza's, Brilliante Mendoza's film, of course. We ate
Yeah,
during that
fun.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had a combination of like experienced indie actors and of course new stars in this film. What was like the most difficult part in putting them all together?
Yeah, because you have people that are quite experienced, then you have people that are more new. Actually had a really good experience on this. I didn't really it wasn't really that challenging. I think the less experienced, no, it's not true. Like I was gonna say the less experienced actors had a little more questions, but actually the more experienced actors also have lots of questions also. I think because in my short film I had like John Arcelia, who's very experienced, and I had Mercedes Cabral, and then I had non-actors. So I come from it's very comfortable for me because I come from like working with non-actors. So to work with like newer actors or less experienced actors, it's not really an issue for me because I come from that. My short films, I always like to work with non-actors. So just making sure that they're not acting, that they're listening, that they're present, and they're not trying to like overly impress me or the other actors. That's maybe the only challenge, is to just make sure they're in the moment and they're not scared of like their inexperience or anything. But
do you think that you had to like mainly like research their past projects before you would actually put them into like a scene?
No, I didn't.
Not
I
at
didn't
all.
do that. Some of the actors were it was just like Viva recommended them, and I trusted. Yeah, so Viva said we think these people will be good. So some people I asked for, and then some people Viva just like recommended, and then I was comfortable with them, so we did it.
With some of the unfamiliar things that Brilliante Mendoza also does, you're practically also doing that in this film, which is some sort of like not giving them any resource with their characters, but just giving them like specific lines and specific instances before they do like take a scene. Has that been difficult with the actors at all?
We did. Direct Brilliante was really generous. He let us do like a test. So I tested out 2 of the scenes with Janelle T and Vince Rillion, and then Angelique Kang and so we got to test out a few scenes. So I got to kind of work for the first time like that, and then they got to try it out. And then once you're in it, you're in it. So it's just like you got to go. There's no like you tell them what to do, and then 5 minutes later you're shooting. So it's like you got to just go with it. Yeah.
And this is very promising. But what are your plans as far as distributing this particular project? Are you planning to just put them mainly on festivals for competitions, or are you planning to like mainly put this in like a commercial kind of setup to put them in like a public theater of some sort?
Yeah, so it's for Viva Max, so it'll stream on Viva Max, and then before that we'll have a premiere, which I hope you can all attend. We'll
Mm-hmm,
have a premiere in the cinema just for press,
mm-hmm,
and then I'll also we'll do a cut that has less sex in it. For
mm,
festivals. So I have like some relationship with some festivals that I really enjoy, and hopefully
mm.
they'll be open to you know, watching it and maybe selecting it.
So, do you think that sexiness wasn't really like um, a necessity of sort to tell the story?
Well, there's nine. Nine sex scenes. So
Mm,
uh so I'll the festival cut will have less because nine is quite
mm,
oh
all right.
my background is so grainy. Yeah, so maybe we'll get it down to 5 or 6.
All right. I'm pretty sure people will really like it on the platform. Thank you so much, Direct, for this chance to interview you.
Yeah. For the general audience, I think it's really good, but for festivals, we'll just slim it down.
All
Thank you.
right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Next, we have MJ De Leon of glitz.ph.
Hello there. Good evening na pala. Sorry. My question is, correct me if I'm wrong, this is your first time to work with Viva Max. Hello?
Yeah. It's my first
Yeah.
feature film.
Yeah. And how is it working with them, when it comes to requirements? Are there some things that you need to sacrifice as far as the creatives are concerned just to, fit in with the requirements of the studio?
I had a really good experience working with them. I really like how they work. I have like a Boss Vincent and Boss Vic were like really great to me. So I had I have no complaints. If you want to do a Viva Max film, you just have to be open to like, fat, like you have to be sharp. You have to know what you want. You have to be able to make it in the 7 days. You have to do the post in the amount of time. So you can't, it really behooves you to have your wits. Like you can't be wishy-washy. you have to really just go with it. Go with your instincts. Yeah.
I see. Okay. I'm sorry. I have to follow up with the second part. Do you think you need to adjust some of the requirements, just to fit in with the requirements of Viva Max? Because I know that there are like a certain formula for a Viva Max feature. Do you have to like adjust a certain part of the creatives or like the story, the original plot, maybe?
The only thing that we really adjusted was we really punched everything up. So
Okay.
we really increased the action elements and the sexy elements. That was it. Like the stories, they let us do what we wanted to do story-wise, like totally. We just like increased the amount of action and sex.
Okay.
That's it. But I'm fine because these are really rough people. These are really rough characters. So like this is their life. This is like the type of stuff they do. So it's not, maybe this is more heightened than their everyday lives, but it's not like that crazy, this type of stuff like goes on.
I see. Okay. Thank you. My second question is like you mentioned earlier, there are like 9 love scenes in the original movie. 9 is a lot, actually.
Yeah.
But that's something that I personally am curious about. But I've watched a lot of titles also on Max. How do you think Pusoy will fare with other titles as far as the sizzling part of it or portion of it is concerned?
Well, it's so many because there's a montage where there's 3 sex scenes. So it's like they gamble, they win money, they have sex. They gamble, they win money, they have sex. They gamble, they win money, they have sex. So it's like it's kind of showing the escalation of time of their life. That's why there's so much. It's free, like boom, like right here. I lost the question. You wanted to know how it's going to compare to the others?
Yes,
Yeah,
because go ahead.
The goal is to be number 1 and to stay number 1 for at least 6 weeks. That's my goal. So I want to open with 1 million views on the opening weekend, 1 million streams, and then I want to stay. It's really good. It's a really good film. Like when you watch it, it really grabs you. But then it's very surprisingly emotional as well because there's lots of really beautiful scenes with the family. So it's a very potent film. Like kind of like either action, sex, or family dynamics.
I see. Look, we're looking forward to that, and for sure you'll get the number 1 spot. I'm just gonna insert this question because I asked this during the Viva Max summer event. You know, it's not really about the movie, but this is about Viva Max, the streaming platforms or streaming movies in general. Because in the US, it started like it was a debate if movies released on streaming platforms will be treated the same as movies released on cinemas when it comes to awards. You see? But right now, I don't think it's an issue anymore. But what about your thoughts?
I think awards films always have a different approach and market than mainstream films. So this is a little I try to walk the line between a mainstream film and an awards film because I want to have a good story, I want it to be good acting, and I want to care about character. But then also you have to have a bit faster pace. Awards film can take their time and can be more specific with their audience. They don't have to be as broad. So it's very rare that an awards film has a huge box office release. Most times Hollywood studios, if they're making an award film, they know this is more of an awards film. This is not, they're not going for as wide of a theatrical release, and they're okay with that, which I love.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me push that a little bit. Maybe the question is, should for example, for a category like Best Picture, does it matter if the movie is released originally for streaming versus the movie released originally in cinemas? Will it matter? Should it be a requirement for movies to be considered for the Best Picture category, for example?
You're talking about the Academy Awards, or are you talking about locally?
About awards in general. Like for example, I'll give you an example. Before, when Netflix started fielding entries in Oscars, big studios are like questioning why should streaming platforms be nominated in the same category as why should Netflix movies be nominated in the same category as movies produced by, let's say, Universal Pictures, or Marvel, or like Disney, So it started as a conversation and a debate, but right now I think it's no longer an issue. But I'm just asking for your thoughts. Should it be treated different, or like a movie is a movie regardless if where it will be released first? I'm sorry.
I think it comes from a place of like we're cinema lovers, and we don't want to lose the cinema. That's really where it comes from. A movie's a movie. Okay, a movie.
Yeah.
It's on your phone. It's on your screen. It's in the cinema. A movie's a movie.
Yeah.
But we don't want to lose that cinematic experience of watching in the cinema, and that's why Cannes is so like strict with that, and that's why like Roma had a limited release. Like Netflix will do day and date releases all the time. Like back when it first came out, they would their art film. They're like awarded directors. They would give them a limited theatrical release. I forgot what other titles.
Mhm.
They did that. Like I saw a few of them. So it's
Yeah, I could not remember as well. Yeah.
yeah, it's important
Yeah,
to
go ahead, sorry.
it's important to not lose the cinema, because
Mhm.
that's where we come from. We come from, I don't know how old you are, but I'm 36, but we come from the cinema. Like that's that's the gold standard. And to lose that is to lose a lot.
Okay, I see your point. Thank you so much, Derek. I'm looking forward to the movie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, MJ. Next, we have Stanley Breeze of Reserve.com. Nakamute ka, Stan.
Hi, Derek. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I just have a few questions for you. Was it your first time to work with the cast of Pusoy, or had you had the chance to work with any of them?
Yeah, it's my first time. Like I said earlier, we did a camera test. Well, yes, for camera and for acting and for the process. But that was like before the test. Yeah, I had never met any of them. Well, I had met Vince, but we never worked together.
All right. So, how does the cast fare with their characters? And do you think they performed well as required in the movie? And also, who do you think stand out most?
Yeah, I think Baron Geisler stands out the most. Either Baron or Vince. They really, oh man, they really have quite a depth and diversity to their performance. Especially Vince. Vince will appear one way for part of the film. He'll be kind of shy and timid, and then the next moment will be, so aggressive and violent or charismatic and persuasive. But it doesn't feel out of nowhere. Like he can ramp up and has like that diverse side to him. Baron, he's like a racehorse. Like he's like, it's like astonishing. Like he can just turn these gears that you don't expect. So it's really impressive. Baron's really I was shocked. Some takes, I was just like blown away. Like he did things I didn't know actors could do, and he's really like something to watch.
I
Yeah.
would agree. Baron is above. I cut above the rest. And also, direct for the intimate scenes. How do you make it substantial for the film? Do they have any reservation in doing it?
We always talk about it before. We always talk about what they're gonna do, and they were like really down. Like because it's not, there's really only one scene that's kind of a traditional love scene. Like everything else is they're into like BDSM or like being tied up or certain things that they can really play with. Like it's almost like an acting exercise, like be a dog or be a cat. It's like I'm not an actor, but as a director, I've taken acting classes just to learn, and they're like there's role playing, and it's not just between the characters. It's like has to do with power. So yeah, it's really interesting. I think they had a lot of fun with it because it's not like just a typical. It gives them something to play with. I think if you give them something to do, it's more fun. Yeah.
That's good to hear. And again, I'm so excited to watch Pusoy, and thank you, direct. Good luck.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Stanley. Next, we have Jude Cartalaba of Lionheart TV. Nakamute ka, Jude.
Hi, good evening, Direct.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. Can you hear me? Clear, loud and clear.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I just want to get into you. As a writer, as a writer, when did you realize that you have the ability to write? And when was that turning point in your life that you want to direct?
I'm a writer director. I've always thought of myself as a writer director. I never
Yes.
thought of it separate. I went to school for English
Okay.
literature. My undergraduate degree is in English literature. So I always
Mm-hmm.
studied writing, like books and
Mm-hmm.
poems and plays. And then one day, I never thought about directing. I always just thought I was going to be a director. I never thought about it. I always thought about I was going to be a director, but I never did anything about it. And one day I saw a bus go by.
Mm-hmm.
There was a poster for a movie. And I was like, why are they making that movie and not my movie? And I was like 20 years old or something. And I was like, well, you have to write a movie first. They're not going to just, hey, Phil, want to make a movie? So it made me realize, okay, I want to do this. And my best friend also was interested in making movies. So we made our first movie together that summer. And it was one of those things where as soon as you try it, it's like, oh my God, this is it. This is the thing I'm best at in life. I'm so bad at most things, And it's just so nice to find something that I love. So it's this perfect match. Sorry, I think I might have only answered half of your question. What's the other half?
You answered all. So wait. So you are a writer director. So who do you emulate as writer and director?
Well, I hope
Who do you know a writer director that you wanna emulate?
Well, I hope I can be myself. There's some people that I'm inspired by. Boyante Mendoza is a
Yes. Who do you admire?
yeah. He's a producer on the film, and he's one of my filmmaking idols. I also really, really love Paul Thomas Anderson. He's a filmmaker, and Steve McQueen, the British director.
Yes.
And Cary Fukunaga. Those are my biggest influences.
Okay. So do you think it's an advantage for a writer to direct his or her own material?
I think you have to. I think it's very separate jobs, because even as a director, if you're a writer director, once you're the director, you have to put your writer cap on.
You forget about being yes.
You have to. It's like you have your writer's cap on and you write, and then you sit down as a director, and then with your director's cap, you do a pass, because you were, as the writer, you were only thinking about the writing and the themes and how this ties together. But now you have to make the thing. So you have to take stuff out, you have to add stuff as the director. So maybe the only advantage is that you like the person because you are the same person. And you kind of have the understanding of where the writer was coming from because you're the same person. But sometimes you look at the script and you're like, why did he write that? But it's you. But yeah. It just maybe it's an advantage because you're a little bit of the same minds, You're not gonna have a.
What are you?
You're not gonna have a gross misunderstanding because you're the same person.
Okay, but are you the type of director that you criticize your writing work when you are directing?
Yeah, sometimes you go, what the hell? Why'd I write that?
Okay.
Like you think you can do so much better. It's because you're thinking as a writer. You're not thinking you can be more ambitious as a writer, but when you're directing, you have to
Mhm.
really consider the budget. You have to really
The
consider
practicality.
everything. Yeah.
Okay. So your film Pusoy, in the Visayan language, it means broke, busted, stone broke, lacking funds, or in British slang, it means skint. Was there in your life that you had this particular phase? Yeah, you experience being broke or being a skint. If you don't mind sharing it.
There's 2 times in my life where I had less than $100 in the bank. So
Mm-hmm.
like less than 5,000 pesos.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite difficult. Like
Mm-hmm.
that was completely to my name.
How did you come out victorious over it?
What's that?
How did you come out victorious over it?
Well, lots of people owed me money.
Okay.
I had earned the money. They just didn't give it to me.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I had $70. So that's what 2,000. I only had 2,500 pesos, like to my name. That's it. My next rent bill was coming, electricity, food. I didn't have. So you just have to let people know that. I don't want to talk about this. It can be hard. It's just you just have to like.
Yeah.
Because I was owed.
But you don't see yourself resorting the kind of life. Okay.
No,
But you
no.
don't see yourself resorting to that kind of life that the characters that you've created in the film, that you play cards or whatever. Never. Okay.
I've never stolen anything. I never used force. It's not me. I'm not like that. But
Okay.
yeah, I was owed money from 5 different people, quite substantial amount of money.
Okay.
So you just have to like let them know, like, yeah, like
Yeah.
maybe you can
I
threaten.
understand.
You can threaten, but I've never done anything like this. No.
Okay. Thank you, Direct. That's about it.
Okay. I'm also a commercial.
Congratulations on your film.
Thank you. I also direct commercials.
Yes,
So if anyone has any
I've read about it.
commercials. I did a campaign for Bumble that's happening right now. It's here in the in the Philippines. It's in Hong Kong and it's in Singapore. And yeah.
Hope you can promote it also online.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you.